This is a reading from the Book of Jubilees. Print or publication is by Zo'ar, which means insignificant or to become insignificant. Also, the Book of Jubilees in the Hebrew tongue would be Cepher YOVEHELIYM. This translation is by R.H. Charles from the Ethiopic version from 1917, translated from the original Hebrew. Who wrote the Book of Jubilees, or Cepher YOVEHELIYM? This inscription and this information comes from the Cepher, the Aleph Tav Cepher. The Book of Jubilees appears to have been compiled from several ancient texts and formalized into a single writing in the 2nd century BC by a scribe during the tenure of the reign of the Maccabees. The Book of Jubilees gathers the writings known as the First and Second Testament of Moses, the Book of Adam's Daughters, and the Life of Adam, and organizes the writings into 50 time periods, called in the Hebrew YOVHELIYM, or Jubilees. The actual compiler is unknown, as is the author of the underlying text upon which the writing is based. The Hebrew original was displaced by a Greek interpretation, although Jerome had an opportunity to view the Hebrew, and the Ethiopic version was taken from the Hebrew text. This publication uses the R.H. Charles translation from the Ethiopic version. Because the book gathers the writings of Moses, the narrator is intended to be Moses. Just a little definition of Jubilees or YOVHELIYM. Joy or celebration, especially 50 years. The word Jubilee comes from the Hebrew word YOVHEL, meaning ram's horn, for the sounding of the ram's horn signaled the Jubilee's beginning. Another related Hebrew word is Zo'ar, which is release or liberty. A Jubilee year is the year beginning on the Day of Atonement every 50th year and proclaiming a nationwide release for Hebrew society. Now I want to read from Matthew chapter 10 verses 5 through 10 out of the King James Bible. These 12 Jesus sent forth and commanded them, saying, Go not into the way of the Gentiles, and into any city of the Samaritans enter ye not, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And as ye go, preach, saying, The kingdom of heaven is at hand. Heal the sick, cleanse the lepers, raise the dead, cast out devils. Freely ye have received, freely give. Provide neither gold, nor silver, nor brass in your purses, nor scrip for your journey, neither 2 coats, neither shoes, nor yet staves, for the workman is worthy of his mate. So all prints or publications by Zo'ar are given free of charge, are given free of cost. Freely we have received, so freely we give. Okay, so this will be a reading from chapters 1 through chapters 5. Here's the prologue. This is the history of the division of the days of the law and of the testimony, of the events of the years, of their year weeks, of their jubilees throughout all the years of the world. As the Lord spake to Moses on Mount Sinai, when he went up to receive the tables of the law and of the commandment, according to the voice of God, as he said unto him, Go up to the top of the mount. Chapter 1. And it came to pass in the first year of the exodus of the children of Israel out of Egypt, in the 3rd month, on the 16th day of the month, that God spake to Moses, saying, Come up to me on the mount, and I will give thee 2 tables of stone of the law and of the commandment, which I have written, that thou mayest teach them. And Moses went up into the mount of God, and the glory of the Lord abode on Mount Sinai, and a cloud overshadowed it 6 days. And he called to Moses on the 7th day out of the midst of the cloud, and the appearance of the glory of the Lord was like a flaming fire on the top of the mount. And Moses was on the mount 40 days and 40 nights. And God taught him the earlier and the latter history of the division of all the days of the law and of the testimony. And he said, Incline thine ear to hear every word which I shall speak to thee on this mount, and write them in a book, in order that their generations may see how I have not forsaken them for all the evil which they have wrought in transgressing the covenant, which I established between me and thee for their generations this day on Mount Sinai. And thus it will come to pass, when all these things come upon them, that they will recognize that I am more righteous than they in all their judgments and in all their actions. And they will recognize that I have been truly with them. And do thou write for thyself all these words which I declare unto thee this day. For I know their rebellion and their stiff neck, before I bring them into the land of which I swear to their fathers, to Abraham and to Isaac and to Jacob, saying, Unto your seed will I give a land flowing with milk and honey. And they will eat and be satisfied, and they will turn to strange gods, to gods which cannot deliver them from aught of their tribulation. And this witness shall be heard for a witness against them. For they will forget all my commandments, even all that I command them, and they will walk after the Gentiles, and after their uncleanness, and after their shame, and will serve their gods. And these will prove unto them an offense, and a tribulation, and an affliction, and a snare. And many will perish, and they will be taken captive, and will fall into the hands of the enemy, because they have forsaken my ordinances and my commandments, and the festivals of my covenant, and my Sabbaths, and my holy place which I have hallowed for myself in their midst, and my tabernacle, and my sanctuary which I have hallowed for myself in the midst of the land, that I should set my name upon it, and that it should dwell there. And they will make to themselves high places and groves and graven images, and they will worship each his own graven image, so as to go astray. And they will sacrifice their children to demons, and to all the works of the error of their hearts. And I will send witnesses unto them, that I may witness against them, but they will not hear, and will slay the witnesses also. And they will persecute those who seek the law, and they will abrogate and change everything, so as to work evil before my eyes. And I shall hide my face from them, and I shall deliver them into the hand of the Gentiles for captivity, and for a prey, and for devouring. And I shall remove them from the midst of the land, and I shall scatter them among the Gentiles. And they will forget all my law, and all my commandments, and all my judgments, and will go astray as to new moons, and Sabbaths, and festivals, and jubilees, and ordinances. And after this they will turn to me from amongst the Gentiles with all their heart, and with all their soul, and with all their strength. And I shall gather them from amongst all the Gentiles, and they will seek me, so that I shall be found of them. When they seek me with all their heart and with all their soul, and I shall disclose to them abounding peace with righteousness. And I shall remove them the plant of uprightness with all my heart and with all my soul. And they will be for a blessing and not for a curse. And they will be the head and not the tail. And I shall build my sanctuary in their midst, and I shall dwell with them. And I shall be their God, and they shall be my people in truth and righteousness. And I shall not forsake them nor fail them, for I am the Lord their God. And Moses fell on his face and prayed and said, O Lord, my God, do not forsake thy people and thine inheritance, so that they should wander in the error of their hearts. And do not deliver them into the hands of their enemies, the Gentiles, lest they should rule over them and cause them to sin against thee. Let thy mercy, O Lord, be lifted up upon thy people, and create in them an upright spirit. And let not the spirit of Belial rule over them, to accuse them before thee, and to ensnare them from all the paths of righteousness, so that they may perish from before thy face. But they are thy people and thy inheritance, which thou hast delivered with thy great power from the hands of the Egyptians. Create in them a clean heart and a holy spirit, and let them not be ensnared in their sins from henceforth until eternity. And the Lord said unto Moses, I know their contrariness, and their thoughts, and their stiff-neckedness. And they will not be obedient till they confess their own sin and the sin of their fathers. And after this they will turn to me in all uprightness, and with all their heart, and with all their soul. And I shall circumcise the foreskin of their heart, and the foreskin of the heart of their seed. And I shall create in them a holy spirit. And I shall cleanse them, so that they shall not turn away from me, from that day unto eternity. And their souls will cleave to me, and to all my commandments, and they will fulfill my commandments, and I shall be their father, and they shall be my children. And they will all be called children of the living God, and every angel and every spirit will know, yea, they will know that these are my children, that I am their father, in uprightness and righteousness, and that I love them. And do thou write down for thyself all these words which I declare unto thee on this mountain, the first and the last which shall come to pass in all the divisions of the days, in the law, and in the testimony, and in the weeks and the jubilees unto eternity, until I descend and dwell with them throughout eternity. And he said to the angel of the presence, Write for Moses from the beginning of creation till my sanctuary has been built among them for all eternity. And the Lord will appear to the eyes of all, and all will know that I am the God of Israel, and the Father of all the children of Jacob, and King on Mount Zion for all eternity. And Zion and Jerusalem will be holy. And the angel of the presence who went before the camp of Israel took the tables of the divisions of the years, from the time of the creation, of the law and of the testimony of the weeks, of the jubilees, according to the individual years, according to all the number of the jubilees, according to the individual years, from the day of the new creation, when the heavens and the earth shall be renewed in all their creation, according to the powers of the heaven, and according to all the creation of the earth, until the sanctuary of the Lord shall be made in Jerusalem on Mount Zion, and all the luminaries be renewed for healing and for peace and for blessing for all the elect of Israel, and that thus it may be from that day and unto all the days of the earth. Chapter 2. And the angel of the presence spake to Moses according to the word of the Lord, saying, Write the complete history of the creation, how in 6 days the Lord God finished all his works, and all that he created, and kept Sabbath on the 7th day, and hallowed it for all ages, and appointed it as a sign for all his works. For on the 1st day he created the heavens which are above, and the earth, and the waters, and all the spirits which serve before him, the angels of the presence, and the angels of sanctification, and the angels of the spirit of fire, and the angels of the spirit of the winds, and the angels of the spirit of the clouds, and of darkness, and of snow, and of hail, and of hoarfrost, and the angels of the voices, and of the thunder, and of all the lightning, and the angels of the spirits of cold and heat, and of winter, and of spring, and of autumn, and of summer, and of all the spirits of his creatures which are in the heavens and on the earth. He created the abysses and the darkness, eventide and night, and the light, dawn and day, which he hath prepared in the knowledge of his heart. And thereupon we saw his works, and praised him, and lauded him before him on account of all his works. For 7 great works did he create on the 1st day. And on the 2nd day he created the firmament in the midst of the waters. And the waters were divided on that day. Half of them went up above, and half of them went down below the firmament that was in the midst, over the face of the whole earth. And this was the only work God did on the 2nd day. And on the 3rd day he commanded the waters to pass from off the face of the whole earth into one place, and the dry land to appear. And the waters did so as he commanded them. And they retired from off the face of the earth into one place outside of this firmament, and the dry land appeared. And on that day he created for all of them the seas according to their separate gathering places, and all the rivers, and the gatherings of the waters, and the mountains, and on all the earth, and all the lakes, and all the dew of the earth, and the seed which is sown, and all sprouting things, and fruit-bearing trees, and trees of the wood, and the garden of Eden, and all plants after their kind. These 4 great works God created on the 3rd day. On the 4th day he created the sun, and the moon, and the stars, and set them in the firmament of the heaven, to give light upon all the earth, and to rule over the day and the night, and divided the light from the darkness. And God appointed the sun to be a great sign on the earth for days, and for Sabbaths, and for months, and for feasts, and for years, and for Sabbaths of years, and for jubilees, and for all seasons of the years. And it divideth the light from the darkness, and for prosperity, that all things may prosper which shoot and grow on the earth. These 3 kinds he made on the 4th day. And on the 5th day he created great sea monsters in the depths of the waters, for these were the first things of flesh that were created by his hands, the fish and everything that moves in the waters, and everything that flies, the birds and all their kind. And the sun rose above them to prosper them, and above everything that was on the earth, everything that shoots out of the earth, and all fruit-bearing trees, and all flesh. These 3 kinds he created on the 5th day. And on the 6th day he created all the animals of the earth, and all cattle, and everything that moves on the earth. And after all this he created man. A man and a woman created he them, and gave him dominion over all that is upon the earth, and in the seas, and over everything that flies, and over beasts, and over cattle, and over everything that moves on the earth, and over the whole earth, and over all this he gave him dominion. And these 4 kinds he created on the 6th day. And there were altogether 22 kinds. And he finished all his work on the 6th day, all that is in the heavens and on the earth, and in the seas, and in the abysses, and in the light, and in the darkness, and in everything. And he gave us a great sign, the Sabbath day, that we should work 6 days, but keep Sabbath on the 7th day from all work. And all the angels of the presence, and all the angels of sanctification, these 2 great classes, he hath hidden us to keep the Sabbath with him, in heaven and on earth. And he said unto us, Behold, I will separate unto myself a people from among all the peoples, and these will keep the Sabbath day, and I will sanctify them unto myself as my people, and will bless them, as I have sanctified the Sabbath day, and do sanctify it unto myself, even so shall I bless them, and they will be my people, and I shall be their God. And I have chosen the seed of Jacob from amongst all that I have seen, and have written him down as my firstborn son, and have sanctified him unto myself forever and ever. And I will teach them the Sabbath day, that they may keep Sabbath thereon from all work. And thus he created therein a sign, in accordance with which they should keep Sabbath with us on the 7th day, to eat and to drink, and to bless him who hath created all things, as he hath blessed and sanctified unto himself a peculiar people above all peoples, and that they should keep Sabbath together with us. And he caused his commandments to ascend as a sweet savour acceptable before him all the days. These were 22 heads of mankind, from Adam to Jacob, and 22 kinds of work were made until the 7th day. This is blessed and holy, and the former also is blessed and holy, and this one serves with that one for sanctification and blessing. And to this Jacob and his seed it was granted that they should always be the blessed and holy ones of the first testimony and law, even as he had sanctified and blessed the Sabbath day on the 7th day. He created heaven and earth, and everything that he created in 6 days, and God made the 7th day holy for all his works. Therefore he commanded on its behalf that whoever doeth any work thereon shall die, and that he who defileth it shall surely die. Wherefore do thou command the children of Israel to observe this day, that they may keep it holy, and not do thereon any work, and not to defile it, as it is holier than all other days. And whoever profaneth it shall surely die, and whoever doeth thereon any work shall surely die eternally. That the children of Israel may observe this day throughout their generations, and not be rooted out of the land. For it is a holy day and a blessed day. And every one who observeth it, and keepeth Sabbath thereon from all his works, will be holy and blessed throughout all days, like unto us. Declare and say to the children of Israel the law of this day, both that they should keep Sabbath thereon, and that they should not forsake it in the error of their hearts, and that it is not lawful to do any work thereon which is unseemly, to do thereon their own pleasure, and that they should not prepare thereon anything to be eaten or drunk, and that it is not lawful to draw water, or bring in or take out thereon through their gates any burden, which they had not prepared for themselves on the 6th day in their dwellings. And they shall not bring in nor take out from house to house on that day, for that day is more holy and blessed than any jubilee day of the jubilees. On this we kept Sabbath in the heavens, before it was made known to any flesh, to keep Sabbath thereon on the earth. And the Creator of all things blessed it. But he did not sanctify all peoples and nations to keep Sabbath thereon, but Israel alone. Them alone he permitted to eat and drink, and to keep Sabbath thereon on the earth. And the Creator of all things blessed this day which he had created, for a blessing and a sanctification, and a glory above all days. This law and testimony was given to the children of Israel, as a law forever unto their generations. So I'm going to stop and pause it here. So we have read through a reading from the Book of Jubilees, chapters 1 and chapters 2. And in separate videos I will continue the various chapters until I finish the Book of Jubilees.